Hey Dallas. Okay, pretty good. Pretty good.
Right now, just getting the final touches on it before I paint it.
Okay. Yeah. What is it? I mean, what kind of paint they have to lay on here?
Well,
is it special?
Like this truck is powder coated.
Yeah.
Meaning that this one, it's a new truck, my first truck. I'm probably gonna want to make changes. Probably want to do things different. Powder coat, you can't really repair it. Whereas paint, you can just. I'm gonna use before I paint it, wipe the whole thing down with acetone, and then Scotch Brite it. Just get everything prepped and ready.
Okay.
And put a self-etching primer, then I'll paint it the final color.
Yeah.
But that way, say I don't like where the shock tabs are, or I don't like where a body mount is or something.
Yeah.
I can cut it off. I can get rid of the paint, just repaint it.
You're right.
So it's
right.
simple, easy, and hopefully I don't have to do that, but it's always an option.
Oh.
And it's also more affordable.
Yeah.
To paint instead.
And so what kind of color are you going to paint it?
I'm going to go for a gray, not as light as this, but a darker gray.
Yeah.
So kind of a gunmetal charcoal gray. And then that way the orange four-links, it'll kind of have some color contrast.
Okay.
Like these axles were actually gray, but last night they were black just because adding more color, just more difference.
Right. What does it cost to paint it? I mean, you gotta have like a special paint, or are you just gonna spray can and just do it, or what?
Well, I'm gonna use a spray gun, but basically the Rust-Oleum paint, a lot of people have had good luck with it, believe it or not, for painting chassis. As long as it's prepped properly, that's the main thing.
Right.
If you don't prep it right, if I was to just go and take a spray can and spray down, it wouldn't last at all.
Okay.
But that's why wiping it down with acetone, get all the dust, anything like that off.
You can make sure it's clean.
Yeah, and then some Scotch Brite, that'll help it to adhere to the chassis.
Okay. But I don't know any of that, so that's why I'm asking all these questions. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who want to learn this.
Yeah. That's good.
Well, coming down to just the final touches, like these tabs right here, gonna weld them in, and then gotta weld these on. Got some D-rings that I'm gonna weld on, so that way if the truck rolls over, something for a track crew to hook onto to pull the truck back over. That way they don't have to wrap a chain around the chassis, which would just damage paint.
Okay. You didn't have that shifter. You didn't have that knob last time. Was it on there last time?
Yeah, it was.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't pay attention probably.
That's all right. There's so many details to a truck.
Yeah.
And things always change.
Okay.
But I think since last time we got a dash panel put in, so from this side, all the full handles for fire suppression, the fuel cables, all that, and then all the switches for ignition, mag, all that, it will be right on that panel. So it's easy to reach and cleans up the look of it quite a bit.
Yeah. You should have built. You should have had him have an engine for you by now.
Yeah, it's sitting over there.
Oh, you already have one already.
Yep, just got one.
Yeah.
So
that's good. What is that? I mean, what does that cost? I mean, the engine. I mean, what the one you got? I mean,
it's quite a bit. I mean, so far it's at $8,000. No blower yet or anything like that. But
what does the blower cost?
You know, it varies.
Okay.
But it can be anywhere $2,000 to $4,000. Okay, which is not really, I mean, it's high, but I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, I mean, it's one of those things, like a lot of parts really aren't too bad on cost, like individual parts, but a lot of the littles add up real quick.
But then you make a lot here, so then you don't have to buy them.
Absolutely. I mean, that's my main thing, just being out, making the parts yourself, you save so much money.
Yeah.
And you know exactly how it's done. You
Yeah.
know what you built inside and out.
Right.
So you know the strengths and weaknesses of everything, and you know that there have been shortcuts taken because you've done it yourself. You know where someone else does it. No, I wonder if they actually used, you know, the wall thickness or whatnot for the tubing. Where at least when you do everything, you know it's done exactly the way you want it.
That's good.
And if anything does go wrong, at least, you know, the only one you can blame is yourself. It helps out a lot with that as well.
Right. Yeah, I seen your latest Facebook posting, what it's going to look like, which you showed me last time.
Right.
The same kind of type, so,
So, finally decided to post a little bit of a sneak peek for everybody. And I mean, social media is huge to the motorsport industry. That's how people grow. And the fastest growing teams, you'll notice, those are the teams that put the most effort into social media a lot of times.
Right. Have you, who are you on Monster Mayhem? I mean, where are you, Captain America or something like that? Or
it's been a while since I posted, but last username I had was Captain Awesome Jr.
Okay, yeah, that's something.
And one thing over here, for some reason, I keep getting Amber alerts.
But I maybe go on there maybe once a week, maybe to see if there's any latest news, and it seems like it's kind of, it's not as much people post on there as much as when I first looked into it like a few years ago even.
Lately the Facebook message boards and stuff have really taken off, and a lot of the attention's gone more towards those. But I mean, I hope Monster Mayhem stays around forever.
Right.
Realistically, that website is kind of where I got my start in the industry. That's where I was able to ask questions, you know, learn about the trucks, learn parts. I joined Monster Mayhem when I was 11 years old.
Wow.
So, for more than half my life, I've been a member of that website, and that's where I've gotten so many contacts, and I've learned so much from there. And I mean, there's the pros and cons to it, just like everything else. Like, sure, there is a lot of gossiping and a lot of people talking about things that they don't really know. And realistically, people in the industry, we recognize the names of people who post on there. Even if you're like, oh, I've never seen him post on there, you know, if I say something bad about him, he's not even going to know. But a lot of people read it. A lot more people read that, and same goes for Facebook. A lot of people, even in this room, who don't even post, really read just about everything that goes on on there. The Facebook pages, you know, it's really cool because one thing, everyone's using their actual name, so I think that helps a little bit to keep down the clutter of people trash talking, but it doesn't eliminate it. There's still people out there who do, where on Monster Mayhem, people could just make up a username and hide behind the username.
I know there's an individual fan page on Facebook like yours and whoever's, but what are the other Facebook pages that, you know, Monster Trucks and then now, or Monster Build and all that? I mean, what other ones you know of that's out there?
Well, there's the one that's called Monster Truck Fans, Drivers, Crew Members. That was a real popular one. And then I actually just found out about the Monster Trucks Then and Now just a few weeks ago, about a month or so ago. I joined that one, and that one's actually pretty busy. One of my personal favorites is the one called The Build Up.
The Build Up,
Just
that's what I've seen too.
Because I love seeing the technical aspect of other people's trucks and seeing how everything's built, how it's put together. So that one is a huge favorite to me. It's not as busy as some of the other ones, but every post on there has meaning. It's something where it's like, wow, that's pretty cool. Whereas some of the other ones are more gossiping and a lot of people, I know something, but you don't know, and things like that. A lot of the childish behavior. Build Up doesn't have that, but of course it's not nearly as busy as some of the other ones. There's also the Monster Truck Collectors one. That one's a real
I've seen that one too, yeah, with the Hot Wheels and all that
Right.
stuff, or whatever.
And a lot of the kids collecting the Hot Wheels, they're some of the biggest fans. And honestly, it almost seems like the Hot Wheel toys
Yeah.
are more popular.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
Yeah, we have a few Hot Wheels here and there, but it could get out of hand. I mean, you see people got like thousands, but for me, I got
younger,
my.
You know, when I was younger, I'd every bit of change I could, and riding my bike probably 5 miles into town to Target to pick up latest new ones.
Yeah.
It was one of those things. Kind of glad I did. You know, it was a lot of exercise. Riding about 5 miles or so.
You got
just
your
to
exercise
see
in.
if maybe they had a new one, and most of the
Yeah.
times I'd go there and it's like, nope, already got that one.
Yeah.
Nothing new, but you know, it's grown popularity.
I mean, actually, I maybe known about it ever since maybe he was little, just the Hot Wheels, because I wasn't really a monster truck fan when I was little. You know, I never grew up that way. But how long did Hot Wheels have monster truck?
Since 2000. That's like when I was younger and they first came out. I'm like, whoa, that's cool.
Yeah.
It has an actual chassis. You know, I gotta get one.
Yeah. Is it the same as now, or was it more metal or more plastic before?
You know, honestly, it's been quite a while since I've been collecting.
Yeah.
I think there's like small changes and stuff here and there, but for the most part, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But there's tons of fans out there that collect every single bit of monster truck merchandise, whether it's the toy trucks, T-shirts, and I've seen a lot of really cool old school T-shirts. It's like, whoa, where did you get that?
You
Yeah.
know, I started showing Chopper was there, and he had one of my Hot Stuff High Voltage T-shirts. Makes me wish I still had one.
West Coast Chopper?
I was like, wow.
West Coast Chopper. You said they had one of those?
Everyone calls him Chopper, and that was actually his username on Monster Mayhem. Harry Smith. And
Harry's. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see him on Facebook here and there.
He's a good guy.
Yeah. You ever think about making retro shirts? Like Hot Stuff, High Voltage,
It's so
or
expensive to make
Oh, really?
you know, the T-shirts. So it's, you know, you got to order 800 shirts in order to get, you know, a good deal on it. Well, I don't want to sit on 800 old Hot Stuff and High Voltage shirts. So maybe we'll come out with another old Hot Stuff Jeep one of these days.
Right. You ever think about? I know the old Hot Stuff High Voltage. You know, the really short wheelbase was really crazy, like we talked about before. You ever think about making another truck like that, maybe with new, modern stuff on there?
Sorry, I mean, if you're going to go 110-inch wheelbase like what they were, you're not going to ever be able to go rear engine. I mean, look at Rockstar's a front engine with 128, California Kid's 118-inch wheelbase. I mean, California Kid's probably the closest to what the old Jeeps were. With modern suspension. But I mean, it's still. We call it the bucket Bronco. It's all over the place sometimes. It's got to be driven. It's a hard truck to drive. Everybody that drives it, you know, is got to be darn good to be able to control it. Otherwise, they're just along for the ride.
Right. Okay. No, because I've seen those old videos, and it was crazy in those trucks. So I was like, man, that's pretty wild. So I was hoping somebody was gonna make. Maybe you might make another one and go crazy.
I'm hoping so. I mean, those trucks were absolutely wild.
Yeah.
And they're a crowd pleaser, and that's what it's all about. And retro is really, really popular right now. And like just look at the popularity of when Donald went to the '72 Chevy body, everyone just absolutely loves it. So I definitely think that.
Have you heard any information if he's going to have the same type of body for this year?
I haven't heard a thing.
Okay.
From what I've seen and heard, apparently he has a new chassis and sold the previous Titan chassis, so definitely excited to see how that works. And Donald, he has such great equipment.
Right.
And I mean, two of my favorite trucks are Titan and Barbarian. And honestly, with the look of my truck, those were inspirations. And I mean, I love the Titan truck so much, but at the same time, it works for Titan. So I want to do things kind of opposite. My truck, I want to build the anti-Titan, just because it almost seems like nothing can top that truck. So I want to build something, rather than chrome, maybe matte colors, a little bit of flat black in some areas.
Right.
I'll do a similar gray probably on the chassis, maybe a little bit lighter, a little bit darker. We'll see how it turns out.
Just make your truck stand out a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, those are two trucks that stand out. Barbarian with the new wrap on it with the brighter colors. It just looks awesome, and people love it. It grabs your attention, and just the driving style of both Devin and Donald. You know, it's definitely a driving style I look up to.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there's things from all of those trucks. I mean, the chassis design for this truck is similar to Titan, where I'm going to be running the Pettibone planetaries like what Devin runs.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the paint scheme, Titan looks awesome. Just it's a simple, clean look. Where Barbarian, it's a little bit wilder, but with brighter colors, and so I'm kind of going that route. Just the eye-catching brighter colors, a little bit of wilder wrap. At least for 2015, see how people like it, and then see what changes can be made for 2016 to make the truck even cooler.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you get it built, then I mean, you gotta have, you know, the spare parts and everything. But then so once you get it down pat, then you're all set, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that getting it painted this week, that's going to be a huge step. Once it's painted, I can reassemble parts, and then a lot of the fabrication chassis-wise is done. I mean, there's still some fabrication that needs to be done axle-wise, and then various things, driveline, hoop mounts, and brackets to hold the rotators, stuff like that. That still has to be done. But I think getting this chassis painted this week will be a huge step. And then from there, it's mostly just adding parts.
Right.
And I mean, the hardest thing in building a monster truck is getting out the checkbook and ordering those parts and spending the money. That's, I mean, the hardest part about it.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. I mean, a lot of this is expensive, whether you make your parts or not. But I mean, you have a bunch of money sitting in the bank somewhere, or I mean, well, how is this going?
Definitely working on it, and I mean, that's one thing. I mean, even if you think you have enough saved up, there's always small stuff that adds up. And I mean, I still need to get a hauler to haul the truck from show to show, so there's definitely quite a bit left to do. And even though it may look like it's getting close, I have motors sitting over there. There's still a lot of things, and just pretty much almost all the nuts and bolts on the truck right now are just ones that I borrowed from Bill's bolt bin. So I still got to go out to Fastenal and get all the nuts and bolts, washers, everything like that, and that adds up quick. I'm sure every single little one might be a few cents or $1 or $2, but a lot of the littles add up quick.
Right. So if you look at your truck right now and where you're at with the truck, how far along are you right now, you think? How much, like, halfway, or?
Yeah, I mean, definitely working towards that. I mean, in actual building wise, I'd say it's actually pretty far. A lot of it is just stuff that needs to be bought. Still got to do a lot with axles. I've purchased planetaries now, and that's a pretty big step. But then,
what do those cost? I mean,
I was able to get a pretty good deal on them from over in Utah, and so that's a huge help. The Pettibone Pipan style planetaries, they're a really, really strong planetary. They're a little bit heavier than the Clarks, but their strength and their strength is incredible, especially for being a stock planetary, where the Clarks, you have so many aftermarket parts just to catch up with what people are doing nowadays. So the Pettibone's a great choice, and it's definitely a good choice in terms of affordability. But there's always, every time you think, you know what, I'm almost done, you'll always find, I gotta do this. And I'm sure once everything's painted, I'm gonna notice right away, oh crap, I didn't put this tab. I need a tab for this or that. It's like, it almost seems like it's a never-ending process, but it'll get there. So just gotta keep working at it little by little, and so that got the 4 links cut right there, and those are pretty beefy. Yeah. So once I can get the Heims in those, got the Heims sitting over in another room, just gonna finish boxing in the bottom 4 links and everything, so for extra racing, extra strength. Gonna have the 4 links cut to the length I want. The mirror image twins, Travis and Tyler, they got some housing that I can borrow for mock-up to line everything up.
Wow.
And so then I can decide where I want my shock tabs to be exactly. So hopefully then that way I won't have to worry about having to, like, oh, the angle's not right, I gotta cut it off and do it again.
Right.
But small stuff like that, that's the reason I'm going for paint rather than powder coat. Once everything's 100% dialed in and it's just the way I want it, then I may end up tearing the truck down, bare framed, and then powder coating it. But likely I'm gonna...
Is there a cost difference from one to another, paint or powder coat? I mean, what is...
powder coat usually is a couple $1,000s.
How much?
Usually a few $1,000s.
Oh, really?
So it can get pretty expensive. It all depends. A lot of people get sponsors to help out with that, or get sponsored by a powder coat place. Yeah. But then again, paint also, it's a little bit pricey, but it's a fraction of the cost. Yeah. So less than a couple $100s, you can have a whole truck painted and primered. Yeah. It won't be as durable as powder coat, but
you got more flexibility. So,
right.
Yeah.
And if a cool thing, like one of my plans is to choose a color that I can get and just a rattle can. So if I need to do a touch up, I can just spray it, have it looking just perfect. Yeah. And the powder coat, as you can see with this truck, it looks really, really nice. I mean, it's hard for it to be something better looking, and it's just really durable. I mean, real scratch resistant and everything. Where the paint does tend to chip a little bit, and you can scratch it a little bit easier, and things like methanol a lot of times will actually kind of wash away the paint, but that's why it's so important to prep the truck first before you paint it. I mean, there's a lot of really good looking trucks out there that are painted chassis versus powder coat. Right. Like Rick Swanson out there, he has some of the nicest looking trucks. Every single time his trucks look spotless, they're perfectly clean, he uses paint. And because of that, if there's anything that does get scratched, say a crazy sky wheelie and the cars kind of rub against the back of the chassis, he can just sand it down a little bit, just spray on the color, and it looks good as new. Yeah. So
everybody got their own little thing going as far as what they like and what they can, you know, what they really want.
Well, and that's one thing that's really common in this industry. There's people out there that'll say, no, you got to powder coat it. I mean, there's no other way. I mean, that's the way to go. And there's other people that'll be like, powder coat? That's dumb. I mean, if you get a scratch, and you'll hear both sides from experienced people in this industry, and I think there's pros and cons to both. Yeah. So it really comes down to personal preference.
Yeah. Everybody got their preference.
Definitely looking forward to seeing these trucks done. I know that truck's Skeletor, and then this one will be the American Badass and Canadian Tough Guy. And these will be really, really nice trucks. Right now, still doing a little bit of electrical still needs to be done and get drive lines, but these trucks are getting there. They're getting close.
You know what I noticed? I'm not asking questions like this. I mean, that engine, well, the blower is facing forward, and this one is facing backwards. What's the deal with that? Okay.
So that'd be more of a Bill question.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, Bill. Why is that blower facing forward and this one facing backwards.
Some of it's just throttle linkage.
Okay.
But no.
Okay.
It doesn't help it in any way that I know of.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? Yeah, it doesn't help it. Oh, hey.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Also, small things like that will help tell these two trucks apart.
Yeah.
So, I mean, without the bodies, they look close to identical.
Same. Yeah.
So, being the same color chassis and axles, the bodies look way different, but there's a little bit of small changes to the roll cage, but it'll also be easier just look at the motor.
Yeah.
But then again, you never know, that could end up changing at any time too.
But is the engine facing the same way?
Yep.
It's just a blower.
Right.
One is forward, one is facing backwards. Okay.
Yeah. Just the
Okay, I
top
wouldn't
of the
even-
blower.
Yeah.
Other than that, real similar.
Yeah. And each engine is about the same. I mean, there is it.
I think this one's a little bit of a smaller displacement than the Skeletor. I think that one's a little bit bigger than this one. But a lot of that's driving preference too. Robert, he likes the bigger motors, and Bill, he likes the smaller motors. Bill, he likes to really, really get on it hard.
Okay.
The different displacements on the motors, a lot of it really is driving style. It's not just, I can get the biggest motor I can, so that's going to make me the best. Smaller motors work better for some people, so they're driving styles.
Is a larger motor more torque, or I mean, I'm not sure what's the difference between a smaller and bigger motor.
Yeah, there's so many differences. A lot of it is how it's set up and tuned, and you can set a truck up for high-end, really however you want.
Yeah.
I mean, it's finding the right combination of parts that really makes it happen.
Yeah.
The trucks are very simple, but they're very complex at the same time. I mean, and there's a new guy over there who's right now doing a work day to possibly be a new crew member, and that's one of the things he said is, wow, these are actually pretty simple, but at the same time, all these simple things, there's just so many simple things, and
Right.
I mean, part-wise, building a truck, you can think in your head every single part,
Yeah.
but it takes a long time, and just when you think you've thought of everything, there's always something being left out.
Yeah. So I guess when I came here last time, you guys they were looking for a new crew member, and is he already?
I honestly don't know.
Okay.
Maybe. Very well could be.
Okay. Oh, so he just stopped by just to look, see what's going on. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not involved in that side of things.
Yeah.
At all, really.
Okay. I understand. Yeah.
But down the road, I'll end up looking for a crew member too. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
As you can see, the trucks, they come along, and once it's got the axles and rolling, drive lines under it, those things right there will have it looking a lot closer to completion.
Right.
Even then, if people see that, be like, oh, it's almost done. Well, no, still got to have a rear steer motor, still need shocks, sway bars, drive lines, after that.
What are you able to make your own shocks, or you have to buy?
I'm gonna buy them. There's people out there that have made their own shocks, but it's one of those things. Another thing, it's simple but complex, and you got to have all the right tools to make everything. I mean, some people may be like, "Oh, I can build that myself for this much money for a third the price." Well, how much is it going to cost for all the tools to do that?
Right.
But I'm gonna end up buying shocks. I haven't 100% decided what I want to run. I know
there's several brands.
Yeah.
Just several. Yeah.
A lot of the different brands, the biggest difference between them is the cost. Where, I mean, really a lot of times there's not a lot different. And a lot of it's how they're set up. And you can have two completely different shocks, and if you set everything up right, you can get them to work exactly the same. So, but everyone out there who makes shocks makes it just a little bit different, and then even no matter who you choose, a lot of times there's tons of different options. Whether you want to do a triple bypass shock or maybe run a coil spring over it. And there's just so many options there. I'm going to run 26-inch shocks front rear, so that'll give the suspension travel. There's some people out there who run 30-inch shocks in the rear.
Right.
I don't think I'll be needing that much, but if in the future I change my mind, just got to cut that section off and then just build taller shock towers. But for right now, 26-inch shocks I think will be the best choice, simply because the parts will be the same. If you run 26s in the front, 30 in the rear, you got to have spare parts.
You get a bite, both.
Yeah,
exactly.
So that's just more stuff that you're going to take with you on the road and everything. So. For sure. I mean, there's so much in these trucks that a lot of people don't even notice. I mean, for example, most people look at it looks pretty simple, but underneath the floorboards, there's tabs to hold all of that in. I have tabs underneath that to hold the fire suppression system. Underneath the fuel cell, there's a aluminum plate underneath, so nothing can puncture through the bottom. There's so many things that go into it.
Yeah, I never even knew that either. I never knew how it's held. I mean.
Yeah, and like. Most motors, they require either Lexan or aluminum, just something underneath. I had some extra aluminum from when I was doing floorboards and everything like that, so decided to just use that. I mean, another example, I still got to make the straps to hold the fuel cell down. There's a lot of stuff that still needs to go on. A lot of people don't notice small stuff like this nut right here that's welded in the chassis for the ground, and then the rear kill shut-off switch right there.
Okay.
And everything from the receiver hitches, making tabs for the primer pump, got a tank mount right here. There's so many small things. And then you see all these Lexan tabs, and I still got to make a few more.
Right.
Still got to put some on the side of the chassis for sponsor panels if I decide to do that.
You know, making a monster truck, is it kind of like making a house where they have all these codes that they have to follow, like for safety issues and all this? I mean,
there's no specific guideline on the design other than safety aspects. So, of course, you got to have roll cage built to certain specs, so that for driver safety, you must have driveline loops, wheel tethers, things like that. So there are requirements for safety, but at the same time, if I wanted to, I could have the fuel cell in the front or the rear. I prefer the rear; it's easier to get to. Whereas if it's in the front, it's hard to build.
I mean, who has it in the front? I mean, I haven't seen myself.
There's a few people, Bigfoot, most of their trucks that's still in the front, and
really?
That used to be where everyone had them.
Yeah.
Everyone who ran a rear engine truck would have a front mounted fuel cell, but
I don't want to mix the engine and the fuel kind of in the same area.
Right, and so of course, there's so many things design-wise. I mean, realistically, if I wanted to, I can build the chassis so it stops right here.
Right.
I mean, the chassis can be built really however you want, as long as you meet the safety guidelines that are for the safety of the driver, track crew, spectators. As long as everyone's safe, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
But definitely a lot of work that goes into it.
Yeah. Yeah, I see you got a list over there, so you're marking everything down. So
exactly. I got
you
to
go.
a point where it's like, no, I think I'm almost done. I got this, I still got this.
Yeah.
Let me start writing it down.
Yeah.
And like just thinking about it, like, yeah, I got like probably like 5 or 6 things. Maybe, oh no, maybe 7 or 8. I better start writing these down. And as you can see, the list.
Yeah. Yeah.
As I was writing it down, oh, gotta get this. Oh, gotta get this. Start looking at other trucks. Oh yeah, definitely need one of those.
Yeah.
So, and then looking at some of the parts I have. Oh yeah, I got these for the battery post. So gotta get those. Right here, I just welded that. So that's really hot. I want to weld this one. So it's like, where do I sit without burning myself?
Okay. Yeah.
So figure I'll get right here and then.
Is it hot right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely don't want to touch it for sure.
Yeah.
But and this one's hot too, so trying not to lean against that. But definitely not wearing the best stuff for welding. You can see all these holes. In this. When welding, definitely don't want to wear your nice clothes. And these gloves aren't the best. You want to wear something like this. Right over there, that glove, match to this one, you can see there's holes in it. Just that's what happens when you don't take the time to grab the right glove.
Right. Well, you're doing a good job.
Thank you. Just getting everything ready, getting it set. I want this truck to be something that whenever you see it.
Oh, he's coming.
Whenever people see it, I want them to be like, wow, that is a cool looking truck. And I want to run it as hard as I can and prove that it's a cool working truck too.
Yeah, when you grow old, and at least you have some video of it when you're making your truck. I mean, when you're making your stuff, you always see it every day, and so you don't think about shooting pictures or video, but it's nice to see stuff, when you grow old and you can show your grandkids what you're doing at this age.
Absolutely. And it's one of those things, if I never did this, I'd always wonder, what if I actually did do it? But now that I've done it, all the people in school, to junior high, high school that said, I can't actually do this, it's not a realistic thing to do. Now I can prove them wrong.
Yeah, when I first seen you on Facebook, when I first got on Facebook, which was probably maybe about 4 years ago, I saw you used to work at Safeway and all this stuff, But what was your first gig as far as monster trucks, the crewing? Was it Western Renegade?
Actually,
I don't know.
even before that.
Okay.
I used to help out the Raymer family a lot. With the Time Flies trucks. Used to help them out a lot. Helped out Sudden Impact Racing quite a bit. When I was 17, I actually used that as my senior project for high school. I think it was 3 days after I turned 17, went down to Louisiana and for the summer crewed for Sudden Impact Racing.
Oh, you were with them too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was my That was my first foot in the door, and after that, helped crew here and there. Finished my senior year, honor roll and all that, and had the best senior project of anyone in the school. So that was pretty cool. And just stuck with it, helping out the Raymers some more, and then helping out Bill a little bit, and then worked my way to driving the ride truck, and then from there, the Raymers hired me to
fired up.
But in between all that, I was working at Safeway for, I think I was there for about over 5 years.
Okay.
So, and doing that, plus high school and then college, between all the monster truck stuff.
Yeah.
So
you were driving a stealth. You were driving a stealth truck last year a little bit. Where's that truck at?
It's actually in one of the haulers right now.
Okay.
That truck's a pretty cool truck to drive too. Drove that over in Europe and then a show over in Canada as well.
Yeah. Was that one of the Holman trucks, of course, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other Holman truck is Rockstar 2, right? Or is Safety Queen?
Yeah, Rockstar 2, and that one's over with Gabe Montoya. We call him Pedro.
New Mexico.
Yeah.
Oh. So is he still gonna, Gabe, is he still gonna, I know he's with the team, but is he gonna do, he has his own truck too, right?
He does.
So is he gonna do that one, or is he kind of on the back burner right now?
I'm not sure what his plan is. I mean, it could be he may run Rockstar 2 and maybe his dad will drive his truck. You'd have to ask him. I honestly don't know.
Okay.
But you know, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
Tons of fun to be around, and he's one of those crew members that just makes this team so much fun to be around.
Yeah.
I mean, every time he's anywhere nearby, even if he just drives out to a show to help us out when he's not doing anything, the whole team stops everything they're doing, like, it's Pedro, oh my God. So
yeah. Okay. Well, I'll let you do what you're gonna do now.
All right.
Yeah, I don't want to hold you up and everybody get mad at you, mad at me because you're not gonna get the truck done on time. You know?
Not at all. Any questions you have, I love answering the questions. Right now, I'm just gonna finish up that one weld, but
yeah.
I mean, I'm in no rush. Today's kind of a slow day here at the shop.
Okay.
Started the day off with doing the charity event.
I heard about it. Was it raining hard or was it kind of drizzling a little bit?
By the time it actually started, it slowed down a little bit.
Okay, good. So how many rides you guys gave?
You know, I didn't keep track, but it was quite a few.
Oh, okay.
There was a lot.
Was a lot of kids there?
Oh yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And seeing the looks on their faces, it was so worth it.
I remember seeing photos of last year's event, and then she already told me that they're gonna have one this morning.
Yeah.
And then, but I was hoping it was gonna be too. I usually work. I work at night, so then when I'm driving home, I saw, being rain pretty hard up in Seattle. Then it kind of slowed up when I came down South Tacoma. But, that's good.
Yeah. Any questions you have?
Okay.
I love to answer them.
Cool.
I mean, this truck. I've always said it. This truck is built by monster truck fans for monster truck fans.
Right.
So
appreciate your kindness.
Not a problem. Anytime.
Okay.
But yeah, these ones are being made. But used to be just a shaft there and then rings, but now these are added to the outside. So that way, even if the welds do break, it holds it there.
Okay. There always was, but now they modified it to be stronger.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Huh. Yeah.
These mount to the axles, and that's what they connect to.
Okay.
So there'll be rod ends on those, which bolt right
Hook
in here.
it there. Yeah. Okay. And look like they made these here in-house. Yeah.
Just about almost everything is in-house.
In-house, yeah. Yeah.
Anything that can be made here is made here.
Now is most monster truck teams make their stuff in-house, or a lot of them buy their stuff?
Most teams still buy things from Patrick or Tim Carroll or anything like that.
Yeah.
And there are teams out there, Team Scream, they make most of their own stuff. And then there's a lot of other teams that order parts from Racehorse or Patrick or from Concussion, CRD.